Oh, there it is.
Thank you, sorry about that. I think I threw it away when I finished.
Do we have an agenda here? Nothing.
Are we on?
I sent it electronically. See, this goes back to that whole
I didn't
electronic.
see it, no, I looked through my email, I didn't see one.
Okay. Good evening. It's 7:20, and I'm opening the December 15th, 2016 meeting of the Littleton Zoning Board of Appeals. We're in the Littleton Town Offices, Room 103 at 37 Shattuck Street, Littleton, Mass. And on our agenda tonight at 7:15 are administrative matters. We're going to catch up on our minutes. So we have a set for June. They've been circulated around. Has everyone had a chance to read them?
I'm good with your changes.
June 2016.
The July 7th one, I don't quite, there's written in "and left the room," but I'm not exactly sure where that goes in that paragraph.
I'm sorry, I don't, are we on?
Yeah, I'm sorry, are we still talking about
Yeah,
June?
the minutes of June.
Oh, okay.
Please, for a minute. June 16th, 2016. And I just want to look at the revised ones. Okay. Does anybody have any changes? Okay, anybody want to make a motion?
Move we accept the June 16 minutes as amended.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay, July 7th, 2016. Mark, where were you, on July 7th on the?
Yeah, first page,
Chair
15
Gould
Great
and
Road.
Jeff Yates recused themselves from the discussion and left the room.
Recused
Oh,
from
okay,
discussion
now I
on-
get it. I thought it was
Okay.
striking out village.
Yeah.
Okay, now I get it.
I did have a question on those. On the third page, in the first paragraph, 5 lines down, you have it and then I couldn't read what was over to the
Oh.
right.
That's because I scribbled in there too.
This has been requested as 2 lots in the beginning. The houses would have been smaller and that,
And that,
it does not make sense to grant a variance after
Right.
the fact.
And, okay.
And was not sure why the planning board endorsed the A&R plan.
Okay.
And the other thing I thought you should take out is the paraphrasing of town council's letter.
And, yeah, I did
And you
take that out, yes.
because it's in the record, they can read, anyone can read the full letter and not try to have it
Yes.
paraphrased, okay. And that should take care of July. Anybody have a comment on July? Motion, please.
Okay, move we accept the July 7th minutes as amended.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, none. Actually,
wasn't
Mark, I'm designating you as the voting member tonight because we don't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for now until we have a 5th come in, okay?
Shelley,
Yes,
does your copy machine do two-sided?
yes.
Why'd you do that? It cuts the paper in half.
Okay.
I usually do. Sue ran the,
The August minutes.
yeah, because that saves a lot to it.
Anybody have any comments on August? Okay, Shelley, I have some on August.
Okay.
7:30 PM, the Oak Road hearing on the third line. Previously recused herself from the hearing, but asked if there was any objection to her participating in the vote to allow withdrawal of the petition only.
Okay.
So that it could be withdrawn without exceeding the timelines for a decision. Because we didn't have enough people to vote if I left it on the map, okay?
So it could be withdrawn.
Withdrawn without exceeding timelines for a decision.
Isn't 3 a quorum on our board, just out of curiosity?
Yeah, but you can't vote without 4. On a 5-member board, you need 4 votes. We can open and close with 3, but you can't vote on anything.
You can't vote on anything
Without
with
4.
4?
You need 4
How
votes.
come Board of Health can?
Because those are local regulations. It's not like following the zoning code.
It's a zoning, I mean, it's in
Okay,
state
just-
statute for zoning that we need 4.
Just curious, so if we fall in, because it's a zoning issue,
It's in the zoning act, the specifics of what, how many members there have to be to vote on
Okay, so
special
there has to be
permits and
40 votes.
variances and.
okay,
yeah.
that makes sense then.
Okay, on the last line of the next paragraph, it just says, as well as abutting lot lines, just take out the and. And in the next 7:30 PM hearing, case 874A, 450 Newtown Road, second line, the first word "for" is requesting a special permit variance.
Tight squeeze here for some
And
reason.
in the
Whole table's been shifted
next paragraph on page 2, somewhere in here, it says the addition would be off the current kitchen, which could be utilized by family members, not my family members. Okay?
Yes.
And that would be my only changes to that, and I've assigned the vote to Mark until you sit down. So, and we have a motion to approve the minutes as amended for,
So moved.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we're up to, moving right along here. Mark, you're fired. Up to September.
Hurt my feelings.
You did such a good job, I can leave it.
We're in September now. And I have a couple of changes on that. Anyone else have changes on September? Harry?
I just see one where that second line under informal discussion says property owner Liz Crowell, 17. 17
Oh, 17 Oak Road.
That's what- She wasn't 17
She's
years old.
17.
Was I even there? I don't remember this meeting at all. And then on page 3, really minor things. About halfway down the hearing case 878A, the plot plan is not a certified plan, comma. The board needs to see what are ARE, the exact setbacks.
Or just cut out what.
Oh, okay, take out
Yeah.
what is fine. Got it, Shelley?
To see-
To
what was that
see
again?
the
board
exact-
needs to see
the exact setbacks.
Okay, yep.
And then, down at the last sentence, Chair Gould, it says, it just doesn't make a complete sentence, it's the wrong verb, so I put requested, a set of plans showing proposed dwelling on a certified plot plan. That's it. Any other comments to September's?
Make a motion that we accept the minutes as amended.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good. And we have a bill. And I will sadly report that Roseanne Bales wrote that she wouldn't be able to join us tonight again for a conflict and suggested that she tender her resignation so that the selectmen could appoint someone who might be able to attend more regularly. And I have not heard what's going on with their attempt to get someone, do you?
Yeah, it's been a while.
A long while.
Yeah.
We actually have 2 spots, don't we?
I think we've got 3 now.
Now we got
Oh,
3.
3 open spots.
So we usually have 9. So we have a full complement tonight, but that's all we have.
Something we said.
No, I asked her that. I was hoping that it wasn't the comment I made last meeting, but I do know, I hope that that's just a conflict in her schedule. Okay,
You maybe contact the selectmen and tell them that we need alternates? Maybe they can bring
Yeah,
it up
we could do
Monday.
that. Shelley, can you take care of just contacting them and letting Keith know that we'd really like to have a few people? I just want to give it 1/2 minute more, and then I'll open the next hearing.
And I also put in, this is just the, I guess it's yearly subsidized housing update.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, let's look at that for a minute. How are we doing?
Well, only change was the Village on the Common ones came off because
So we're at 12.9, and they don't change the denominator until the 2020 census. So we're good for 3 years the way we are, but then I think we've got so many new housing starts that in 2020 we're at risk of coming off again. Did all of the Omni ones get counted,
yes.
even though they're not all built, or they are all built?
Well, they have 150 units on there, so I was trying to remember how many of the, so I think 144 of those are the apartments, because you get
And
to count all of
100% of
those.
the apartments.
Right.
And then 6 of the affordables had closed as of the date when this was submitted. So 6 more of the affordables are closing in January, so.
There will be 6
that'll
more
be-
added.
Yeah.
Good.
That will help our numbers also.
Good.
And the Village on the Common that says 0, that's Kimball.
So that's been
property.
0 all along.
Okay. That's the
It's
Kimball
been 0
property.
for the last 5 years, 6 years.
They don't count until they're built.
Thanks for bringing that, Shelley and
Or when they're
Sherry.
permitted within the first year.
Okay, at
Count as
7:30
project.
PM, I'm going to open the hearing on case number 880A of Andrew Califatis for a request for a special permit or variance pursuant to section 17310B, non-conforming uses and structures, and 17331, intensity of use to allow the alteration of a non-conforming structure with respect to a new nonconformity for a proposed tear-down and reconstruction of a single-family dwelling at 32 Middlesex Drive. Mr. Califatis, the way we handle the hearings is that you come forward and present. You are allowed to be as informal as you like. We have a lot of the materials here. When you're done presenting, the board will ask you questions. You're able to answer those questions. Then we'll ask if there's any abutters or anyone else in the room with any interest in this. We'll read in a comment from the building inspector, which has come to our attention, and you're allowed to keep talking and presenting your case as long as you need to. We have no problem if you want to come forward and see the plans as he presents them. Okay. So do you want to start and lay it out?
Yep, as I said in the letter, the existing structure there is non-conforming due to side and front lot setbacks. We'd like to tear that down, rebuild a new 2-bedroom structure, maintain the same 2-bedroom status, not increase or not actually reduce the distance to the lot lines. We want to not get any closer to the lot lines on the front and side that's currently non-conforming. At the same time, we're going to replace the septic system. It's got an existing failed Title V septic system. It's a tight lot, as you've got all the literature, I'm sure you can see. So keeping the septic system as far away from the wetlands as possible kind of leaves us very little room to work with in the house, so.
How come I don't have that?
At this point, we have Board of Health and Conservation Commission approval.
You do have Board of Health approval?
I'll show
Yeah,
you
we do.
this with-
Can you explain, please, why there's no effort to move the structure further away from the offending sideline setback? Can it go any further to the west?
The sideline, well, Yeah.
On this sideline, you're at 10 or 11 feet, and it looks like you've got some room to the SAS, but maybe not.
So basically, we need to be 10 feet
10
here.
feet off that, yeah.
And right now, I think we're just at 10 feet between the septic system,
Okay,
so.
that was the question.
And because you can see how it's angled,
Yeah,
even moving back, we'll get this corner
yeah,
closer.
okay, that was my
So-
A
question.
bedroom on the first floor, and upstairs, a bedroom.
So,
So upstairs you have, oh, sorry,
no one's gonna, anybody else?
upstairs you have one bedroom and a whole lot of attic.
Correct.
Thank you for the plans. We
The
don't
plans are
We
great.
don't always have them.
No, the plans are great, and it looks like a very sensible house for the lot, but I'm a little amazed at how much space there is upstairs that you're not utilizing.
Well, given the water table there, I mean, I'm confident we'll keep the cellar dry, but it'll probably always be damp. And we're gonna rely on the attic space as storage versus cellar. I mean, we're just gonna have the 2 bedrooms, that's all our plan is. You know, we're probably looking at it thinking, oh, there could be another bedroom put in there, but like any house, people could put bedrooms in the cellar and stuff like that.
Does the
That's not
Board of Health have a 2-bedroom deed restriction on it?
There wasn't a deed restriction.
I think it was just redesigned for
As-
two
as a
bedrooms.
Designed for 2-bedroom, yeah.
So he's limited in his rooms of living space
Right.
based on that.
Septic system
Is
for
this-
a two-bedroom?
Yeah.
Is this the current footprint, or is this the future footprint?
Yeah.
Is it the same footprint? Because I couldn't tell.
The footprint's increasing. The existing footprint is this line here,
Okay,
okay? And this
there's
darker
something wrong
outline
with
would
it.
be the new footprint.
thank you. Okay,
So-
appreciate that.
Okay, do I have any abutters with questions?
Well, hi, I'm Andy, I'm your neighbor.
How are ya?
I live at 20 Middlesex Drive.
And can we have your name for the record?
Andrea Carring, 20 Middlesex Drive. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with what you're doing, but I got sort of alarmed because you're really close to wetlands there. And there's a house on Suffolk Drive that was built about 10 years ago. It's 27 square feet, 2,700 square feet, and it's supposedly 2 bedrooms. And it has a 2-bedroom septic, I believe. And there's a couple that lives there, and they have 4 children. And I'm reasonably sure they do not live in 2 bedrooms. And I guess, you know, like what you just said about,
And I just need to stop you. That petition isn't before us, nor is that couple here to defend themselves. So right now, we have to stick with this. I don't mind the anecdotal reference to somebody else,
okay,
but I
I
don't
just
want you to
worry
identify
that.
it. So tell us what you're worried about with
I
him.
just worry that this sort of thing might happen again, that it's, you know, a 2-bedroom, and it isn't really a 2-bedroom, and the septic says it's a 2-bedroom, but it's, you know, that area is so wet, and it all goes right into the lake. And and I don't know how these things get policed or supervised or, but I just have concerns about the wetlands and about the lake, that, because anything that happens that the septic is not right, all ends up in the lake, and that's everybody's lake, you know?
So where is the lake to Middlesex Drive in this drawing, please? Because the wetlands I see are pretty far behind.
So, yeah, it's over here.
It's over here, yeah.
So this is actually town land, and it's kind of the beginning of Long Lake Park.
Yeah.
It wraps around the lake.
Yeah.
So I guess to address your question, our children are grown. We live in Littleton now, in a big 4-bedroom house, and we're downsizing.
Downsizing,
My
yeah.
wife and I. I know that doesn't mean 20 years from now we might sell the house, or when, you know, we can't live there anymore, or whatever. But also, as far as, you say, it is close to wetlands, but we're really not getting any closer to the wetlands, and we're not fixing, we're putting a new septic system in,
Yeah.
because it's a failed one now. So I see anything we're doing there is actually an improvement on the environment.
Okay.
What is the living area of the first floor?
Have it here.
I think the first floor is like 1,400 square feet. The total house is 1,900 plus or minus.
Very big.
So the gross living area is 2,800, no, not even 2,800, it's only be half of the upstairs.
And he said 19.
So-
1,900 is the gross.
The
Gross?
total living area, including the bedroom and bath upstairs, is...
I was talking about gross, including attics, because you count, most of it's capes, so you count half of it, so you'd add 700, so
Not if it's
basically
not heated.
21. What?
You don't count it if it's not heated, it's not considered to
I
be
know, but
potential.
we're talking about what potential,
Well,
There
so
could
the big difference now is that all of these get reviewed by the Board of Health agent when it comes in as a building permit. And so because it's a two-bedroom, he can only have a maximum of 5 rooms of living space on a two-bedroom system. So that's basically anything that's not a laundry room, a mud room, a bathroom. So dens, bedrooms, kitchen, living room, dining room are all considered. So Jim can't sign off on anything that's more than 5 rooms. So he's
I
limited
understand,
there.
I wasn't talking about, I was talking more about the potential that this house could have, if someone moved in with 4 children and decided to finish.
But they wouldn't be allowed
at-
to finish anymore because they're at their maximum of 5 rooms.
I understand,
So they'd be doing it without permits.
and unfortunately, people do that sometimes. But, you know, we can't hold him responsible for what other people do
Well,
sometimes.
and it's
quite
a
frankly.
first floor bedroom plan, which necessitates that it's gonna have a big roof, because it has a bigger first floor than normal houses. It's gotta have a roof. And this plan is a little deceptive because it doesn't really take into account the sloped areas, which are significant, but anyway.
Let me read in what the building inspector has to say. 32 Middlesex Drive. You can sit down if it's more comfortable for you. The applicant seeks a variance to demolish a detached non-conforming single-family dwelling on a single lot. The applicant met with me to discuss the merits of completely removing the structure and rebuilding with a new design rather than altering the existing structure, an option that could be utilized for the sole purpose to preserve the nonconformity of having a pre-existing non-conforming dwelling on one lot with reduced setback issues. Pursuant to 173-10B2, which is the bylaw that allows change, extension, or alteration of a pre-existing nonconformity, the complete removal of the 2 nonconforming structures, thus making the lot more conforming, then rebuilding new, thus creating a new nonconformity, may suggest a variance process. It has been the policy of this office to encourage builders and property owners to completely remove older, non-building code compliant, single-family dwellings and accessory buildings and rebuild through the variance process, recognizing that the Board of Appeals has the authority to control size and shape of the proposal. Recognizing that this applicant has the option to preserve a portion of the existing structure to maintain the grandfather status, would afford the applicant the right to seek a special permit for the alteration and expansion of the structure. For reasons involving integrity and cohesiveness of the structure during construction as a whole, this office encourages the complete removal of the structure to be construed as a whole new. For reasons noted above and for what I believe is the good of the community, I ask the Board of Appeals to consider my comments regardless what appeal mechanism they may deem appropriate, no further comment. Now, what I think all that means is that Roland, Shelley, and I have been going back and forth with this, and this is what I understand. Maybe I'm wrong, but let me try it. Roland says, the bylaw and the state case law says, if you have a pre-existing non-conforming structure, you can change, extend, or alter it, provided that if there's any new nonconformities or increase of an existing nonconformity, that has to be a variance because you're creating a new dimensional variance. But if there's no change to that nonconformity, it's a special permit. Now, Roland says he prefers to have a structure taken down completely and a whole new one built. So he says, technically, when you take down the whole structure, at that moment in time, you no longer have any pre-existing nonconformities. So he thinks it should be regarded as a full new variance. However, one thing we talked about is, if your new structure is not going to increase the nonconformities at all, then the technicality of not leaving a wall shouldn't jeopardize the ability to change, extend, or alter. So our board, I noticed when I was doing the decisions, the last couple we've done, we've said, If you're totally within the footprint and you're not creating any new nonconformity, we'll do it as a special permit, even though all the walls have come down. Roland is saying, I think he's saying it doesn't really matter because the very fact that it's a substandard lot and you need to replace it, and his preference is to replace it, provides the hardship.
Well, I think the way I understand it is that once the house is taken down, it's a new nonconformity that's being
So it
created.
has to be a
So he wants it
variance.
as a variance, but he prefers that it be fully taken down instead of keeping the one wall up, which if one wall was up, it would still be a special permit, but just for building safety and structure, he prefers that the whole.
So
taken
we've
down.
taken we've taken Roland's recommendation, and we've given variances to these structures, which maybe otherwise they wouldn't have gotten variances, because they could have gone through this other process and gotten it
And said, no,
through
we're
a
gonna
special
keep
permit.
one wall up
Yeah.
and it's a special permit,
But
right?
if they keep one wall up, they only have the right to build in the existing footprint.
No, you can
No.
extend, you can, under a special
Extend,
permit, you can
change,
extend the
just can't
nonconformity.
create a
You
new
can't create a new nonconformity.
Without a
So-
variance, you could
Right,
create a new
yeah.
nonconformity.
So
with a
if,
variance.
in this case,
But
this,
even then, they need a special permit.
yeah, but
to
it's a
extend
lot
the-
easier to get than a variance.
To extend the footprint. Without a special permit or a variance, they have a right to rebuild in the exact same footprint.
Yes.
If they keep one wall, is what I'm saying. They have a right, state law says they have a right to rebuild in the exact same footprint, as long as they keep one wall up without a special permit or a variance.
With one exception to that. Case law says if they're going up, even though they're staying within the footprint, if they're going up, they're
creating
making more. So
But they
that's
can replace exactly what's there.
correct. So, but his end sentence here says, I ask the board to consider my comments regardless what appeal mechanism they deem appropriate, whether we want to do it as a variance or a special permit. And I still like the idea of doing the ones that aren't increasing the nonconformity as a special permit, even though all the walls have come down and technically we don't have any more nonconformities.
And I also did put in the GIS map on that. There's only one house to one side, and on that map, it looked like it was a little closer to the street than this existing house, but there's no house on the other side. So again, that's one of those,
Your front setback may be,
if there's
may
only
not
one
even be a
house, you know,
nonconformity.
I don't, so,
But your side setback is a nonconformity,
Right,
and there is
right,
going to
they-
be more of it.
right.
So in this particular one, I think
He
we do
needs
it
it
as a
anyway.
variance. That make sense?
Oh, yeah, it has to be a variance on this one because it's increasing both height and length of the nonconformity. But, and in reality, Andrew, have you seen the plan? You have a copy of it right now. It's a fairly modest house. The rooms aren't oversized. It's pretty, as houses, you know, first bedroom, master bedroom on the first floor houses go.
Which is smart, they keep it
It is a modest, reasonable house. It's not, you know, 32 feet high
Right.
and the roof does have serious dormers, which will help limit the expansion upstairs for future buyers.
Yeah.
Even though it does look like, when you look at the plans, there are rooms already planned. It, you know, they are dormered roofs.
Well, they're bearing walls, but, yeah, one has a door, but even then, do you consider the first floor 2 rooms under the Board of Health? You know, the family dining kitchen, which is one big room, is that considered one room, or,
if it's all open,
I mean, it's just essentially one room?
Isn't there a maximum square footage, though?
it's not anymore. That used to
That's
be in
considered
there.
two, though. I think
Did he count it as two?
kitchen, dining, and living.
And then
that
living,
you see there
and then the
would be- those
bedroom
are the
would be 4, and
Okay.
then one room
3,
upstairs.
Master bedroom, 4.
Then you have
and
two,
the
you're allowed then 2 rooms upstairs, which, yeah, okay.
Which, yeah, because I guess that was the case
Kitchen,
on
dining, living.
Evergreen, because she had that big open area, but he was counting it as 2, so,
Right.
yeah.
So you're saying the family dining kitchen are 3 rooms?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
Really?
It's like, you
Yep,
know,
that's how we count
fourth
it.
is the master, and the 5th is the room upstairs, and we're not counting bathrooms and mudways and entryways and garages and all that.
Okay. I'll take a motion to close the hearing if you've all had enough.
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ready to deliberate and then vote?
Seems reasonable.
I make a motion that we approve the plan as presented.
Second.
Granted, excuse me, I just want to
Granted
discuss it.
variance.
Thank you.
I make a motion that we grant the variance as proposed. Wait a minute, let me find the number. Let me find the case number. Do we have a case number? Where's the
In
application?
80A.
880A, and the variance is from section 17331
Thank
to
you.
allow
The construction
reduced front and side,
as outlined in file number 2107 dated October 27th, 2016. And referencing plans presented.
Second.
With variances, we have to justify it based on site or topography, and in this case, it's because you have no other place to put, otherwise you would have room to conform, but in this case, it's because of the site, and that will reflect that in the decision.
Yeah, if you centered this house on this lot, it'd be fine, but then you'd have no room for septic system.
okay, second to that motion?
Second.
It does, it backs up, there's a little stream that runs along the back of all the
Yeah,
properties
behind
there.
the shed,
Right, so you can't get too close to that.
no.
No.
And we actually own the lot behind,
Yeah,
but that's all wetlands too.
it's all wet
so-
in there, right.
So who owns the lot between you and the lake?
The town.
Oh, okay.
Town's
We all-
conservation
Yeah,
land.
it looks,
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
looks like it's all
conservation land.
trees.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, well, moved and seconded to
Seconded.
grant the variance. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. And variance is allowed.
Yes,
I think that requirement of keeping the walls silly.
Okay, I'm going to open the next case. It's 7:50 PM. I'm going to open the 7:45 case, which is a discussion on case 695A, Kimball Farm Village on the Common. Request to extend the 40B comprehensive permit. I have to stand down because I have a financial interest in the outcome of the case.
I'm standing down. I don't have a financial interest in the outcome of the case, but I have a relationship with Mr. Kimball, so.
Chair show.
Sure, since I did before. But where is my agenda? Did you share my agenda?
It's actually on the back of Roland's notes.
Do you have a copy of that
This
letter
this is right here.
that you sent out about the
Put it
Kimball
on the back of
property?
the notes.
I don't see that.
7:45, so we're good.
I did.
Yeah, you sent out a letter, yeah, it was the extension from last time.
Okay, I'd like to open case number 695A, Kimball Farm Village on the Common, a request to extend 40B comprehensive permit.
Good evening. I'm Kim Allen from Perkins and Ansel. I'm standing in for attorney Robert Ansel. He is unfortunately out of the country tonight. We were not aware this was set in until last week, and he can't change his plan, so he extends his apology for not being able to be here. As a preliminary matter, we are asking to have board member Hollinger recuse herself. It's come to my attention that Mike Kimball's in the process of purchasing a property from your real estate agency, and
That's
just
not true.
because of the appearance of a
That's not true.
conflict with, well, it's my understanding that there's a closing scheduled in the next month, and your agency has listed the property. So because of that, we do, it at this timing, we didn't know this hearing was gonna
Excuse me,
be set in.
back of the room, if you could, thank you. My ears at this age don't work like they used to. Thank you.
Because
He is purchasing an unrelated property from one of my associates. And while there is no financial outcome at all, I think that we have a problem because we can't vote with less than 4 people. So we can't we can't open this hearing, we can't hear this hearing, we can't extend the permit, we can't do anything. So what's gonna have to happen is I'm gonna have to talk to town council and find out if it is a problem for me to sit on this hearing. And we'll have to solve it that way. We can't extend, and we can't hear. We don't have enough people. So,
If I may be heard briefly on that, it's our position that it's not needed to be extended. I guess we're here asking to have the board's approval that the permit has been utilized. At the hearing that was last December 10th on this matter, and then subsequently the
I'm sorry,
opinion.
we cannot approve
At
anything.
Well, it's, okay, all right.
We cannot.
You might want to do that if we continue.
That was the
I
decision.
can't do this. I'm sorry, until I,
Unless she withdraws her objection.
no, even with Sharon withdrawing her objection, it's been made, and there've been some questions lately. I mean, I don't want any appearance of any impropriety at all. And while my agency has no financial interest, and I have no financial interest in this project, he is indeed buying a piece of property
Yeah.
listed by one of my associates that abuts
Okay.
his property.
But then the problem is the extension expires.
So be it. We cannot hear this, we cannot approve it, we cannot extend it, we can't do anything. I'm sorry. And I'm closing the hearing, and until town council gets back to us on what to do, because that means we do not currently have enough members to approve or extend anything with Kimball. Actually, if we can get Rose, if we can get,
She was gonna resign because of
She
conflicts,
hasn't-
but
she hasn't resigned
been
yet.
accepted yet, so we need to get her in, yeah.
do you want to reschedule?
But you would have to have another meeting before December 31st, when the extension expires, unless,
And I don't see that happening.
Well, if you were to poll the board, I'm one person that would have an awful hard time voting for an additional extension, for whatever that's worth.
I can't even pull the board. I can't do anything.
well, it's, for one, it's not a hearing, it's a discussion. But I think first the determination has to be made if you're participating or not participating. And if you're not participating, then
If I'm not
we can't vote on
participating, I can't
anything
say
because we
anything.
only have 3 members.
What do you recommend, Shelley?
Well, what are the chances that the board can meet again before the end of December?
With our alternative.
We would have to have Roseanne participate before she resigns.
I think we're gonna have to get back to you folks tomorrow.
Okay. And before we close the record, I just want to put on the record, in the event that you are not able to reschedule this before December 31st, that, as I said, it's our position that this isn't a needed request for an extension of the permit, but that it is, in fact, that the permit has been utilized. There's been substantial financial expenditures for the wastewater treatment plant that were outlined in Attorney Ansell's letter of June 30th that was sent to the board as requested per the December 2015.
stop you.
I just need to put it on the record, because it is our
No,
position that the
because the
permit
meeting's
is.
closed. I have closed the hearing. You can't put it on.
Well,
You
then
know,
I'd ask
No,
to
no,
have
but
it reopened,
She
because
said it wasn't a hearing and we
It's
didn't
not a
vote on
hearing, it's a
closing it.
discussion.
It's a discussion.
Yeah.
Okay, so she can go ahead and do that.
Now, can't the building inspector verify that substantial progress has been made and issue a letter to us?
Building inspector wrote, building inspector has a letter in here which should be read, if this discussion's going to happen. The building inspector has a letter in here that should be
Okay.
read into record on his opinion on what has happened with this property.
Well, if,
And she has that position, but that's her position, not necessarily the board's, but I can't even go there, so.
yeah, but my question is, if substantial work has been done, what's the role of this board if it's not extending the permit?
I don't think that the material elements here are really appropriate. I think what we have here is extenuating circumstances that are,
I think the only thing
shouldn't,
we should be
shouldn't.
discussing right now is if the board can meet again before December
Right.
31st to discuss this with a fourth member, since they've requested that Cheryl not participate. So I think that's the only thing we should be talking about.
Or we need to talk
is
to
if-
legal counsel.
And I'll have to call town council tomorrow and get their
Oh, I'll
take on
call him.
this.
I want to,
Well, if you're not participating, you can't call them on this, so.
I can't call, well, no, I want to call him and see if I can participate. I want his position on whether or not I'm allowed to participate.
I should probably call and then he can take it from there with that.
Oh, okay.
So I guess really the thing is, can the board meet again before December 31st? It doesn't necessarily have to be a Thursday.
And what's the downside if we don't meet? Since they're not asking
Then
for.
technically the permit expires.
Well, that's why I'm
the
talking about
extension
extenuating circumstances,
expires
because if we can't
On
function,
the 31st.
there shouldn't be a hardship for the applicant because we can't function. I mean, that doesn't seem appropriate at all.
If they're not asking for us to extend the permit because they've done substantial work, then what does it matter that the permit expires?
Well, because the board needs to make the determination whether you feel that substantial work has been completed since the permit was extended last year. Because that was the wording in the extension. So that's what the discussion needs to be, whether the board feels that there's been substantial progress.
I can certainly meet again before the 31st, as long as town council says it's okay for me to be part of the hearing. I'm not traveling anywhere. How about the rest of you? Any
Yeah.
travel going on?
No.
I may be available, but I think there's broader issues there. I mean, if in fact we're holiday season and so forth and so on, I think the town council should also be apprised of the fact that we couldn't meet. We couldn't just really have a full airing of this hearing, and perhaps that there may be an extension of the permit so that we don't have to absolutely get this done before December 31st. I mean, I think that should be part of the discussion with town council.
You had something else to ask.
It doesn't seem like it's the end of the world.
So I think probably we should look at the last week of December, since next week, I think it would be hard for us to get a response from town council and me assure that that fourth member would be able to come in. So I think if we looked at either the 27th, 28th, or 29th. 29th is a Thursday.
I would not be available the 27th or the 28th.
Okay, so the 29th would look at.
I'm available on the 29th if town council decides I can hear. That's it.
Well, nobody knows about Roxanne yet.
Right, I'll have to call her tomorrow. So let's aim for the 29th. If Roseanne's not available, we may have to back it up to next week. But what I'll do is I'll call town council in the morning, I'll call Roseanne in the morning, and I'll be in touch with you tomorrow and just give you an update
Okay, sounds
as to
good.
where we're at.
Yes, thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, well, the discussions, I already closed the discussion, so.
But I would not omit the idea of pushing it back to
Yeah,
beyond the
ask him
31st.
what he thinks, if it's because of the situation.
You could give a 1-month
At the
extension.
Yeah, I
January
mean, that doesn't
meeting,
seem like
we'd
it'd
be
be
better off.
too difficult to at least consider.
Yeah, but again, you have to see about
But
Roxanne.
you need 4 people, we just had this discussion, you need 4 people to even give a 1-month extension. So,
Okay, so I'll do that tomorrow. I'll send an email out to everybody, and I'll give you a call tomorrow after I've talked to town council.
Do you have my email address? It's the same as Rob's, but Kim.
Okay.
Kim at Perkins
Yeah.
Law PC.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
thank you.
That's a confusing one.
Cheryl stepped down, she didn't do it before, so she shot herself in the foot.
can't tell.
No,
I can scooch in.
I think we're done.
Well, anybody have any other business?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm not a voting member, I'm sorry.
Shelley, Merry Christmas from your board.
Oh, thank